Welcome one, welcome all, welcome to the Millie Roundtable here. And as always, I'm joined by former Millie Maker winner Felix in the Best Ball Streets just a couple of years ago. Felix, you had to enjoy Thursday night football with the way that Gadsden looked, the way that Ladd McConkey and Herbert looked, and hell, Kamani Vidal kept running like a bull in that fourth quarter, man. How are you doing?
Man, it can't get any better. Like after last Sunday, and I was a little down, but man, the Chargers came back and looking good. Feeling good about this slate. It's another wonderful Sunday coming up.
Absolutely here. I am drinking Red Bull and Powerade because I'm going to the casino after this because I'm feeling lucky. I'll tell you that right now. Is that a Celsius?
No, I'd DoorDash myself a Red Bull. Strawberry apricot.
Me and you both have done that at least.
Yeah.
You got a stacked running back slate. That's the opposite of the quarterback room. I can tell you that with much confidence. The quarterbacks are going to be really gross, but the running backs will be incredible. What's up, everyone? I know that you guys are all in the chat. We got Slappy here too. What's up, Slappy? How you doing, man? And then obviously vodka and kombucha. That's for later in the night. That's when I want to get knocked out, broccoli taco. But we'll go ahead and get into the slate. We won't dilly-dally too much, but we'll talk a lot about these games that we have on tap. I mean, there's just a bunch of games that we get to. No Sunday morning game for the first time in, 6 weeks, I believe. So,
yes, it's been
too much. Yes, I'm kind of glad to be able to sleep in just slightly before I start live betting golf. Felix, first game. One of the worst defenses in the league, the Miami Dolphins, the rushing defense. I'm going to put it this way, too. My worst week of the year was last week. Why? Well, I faded Rashee Rice, who didn't get more than 45 yards. And two, I faded Judkins because I'm like, you know what? It's a lot of ownership.
I faded Judkins too, man.
I talked about the lack of receptions for him, right? Like the lack of involvement in the passing game is going to be critical. Well, it's not critical when you get into the box 3 times. Even when you get 25 carries for 84 yards, you still score 3 times.
Yeah, when Tua throws an interception from 2 yards away, you can't help it.
Then right into the gut of Judkins for 6.2 fantasy points. But this week, I mean, it's going to be tough to fade Bijan Robinson. Look what he can do on the ground. He's been arguably the best. I mean, I think Christian McCaffrey has officially reclaimed the title as the best running back in fantasy football. We'll talk about him next game. But Bijan is very, very close behind him. This is a smash spot. I don't have a ton of interest in, with the situation at quarterback there with Penix and Kirk Cousins. It sounds like it could be Cousins to be able to go.
It does sound like Cousins is going to go.
And that's going to impact this offense a decent bit. Maybe they rely on Bijan a little bit more. Cousins is no slouch. Obviously, they went away from him for a reason. But I do think Cousins is a interesting play, right? Because only at 4,400 here, Felix, right?
Yeah.
A lot of stud running backs in the slate. Are the Falcons going to be a team that you're stacking up with a great team total, but they'll be pretty high owned?
Man, I don't like to play people well over, like we talk about here, like above 25%. It's 44% ownership looking at it right now. I don't know, man. I might play the opposite and play Tyler Algier or play the passing game and hope that, I probably won't play Tyler Algier, but I might play him on the running back position. I'm going to go light on. I'm going to be underweight, but man, how do you go away from it? It's going to be tough.
Absolutely. I mean, let's look at the ownership here real quick, right? And I'm just going to look at it at running back when I isolate it there. Bijan at 44 projected right now, which honestly sounds close to right. I think it's going to be 35. I think that's where it's going to land at. I think RPS ownership is in at 25. You got Rachaad White, who's going to be the second highest, which again, I think there's a lot of red flags with, I guess there's not a red flags when you're facing New Orleans, but that running game didn't look too stout last week against the Lions there. Jonathan Taylor, great spot as well. You got Christian McCaffrey on the slate too. So you're going to have other options to pivot to for the most part. So if you are light on Bijan, you mentioned, Algier in a blowout script would be a guy who's complete leverage, right? Like, because what you're banking on at Bijan at 8,800 is close to 25 fantasy points, like is what you need.
Yeah. And it'd be kind of competitive, but the Dolphins haven't been able to keep it competitive.
Yep, and that's also the thing, too, that you mentioned. If they keep it competitive, right? If it's not competitive, well, one of Bijan's greatest strengths is his involvement in the passing game? Will he be that involved in the passing game, right? And they could easily be a situation where Bijan touches the rock 20 times tomorrow, 140 yards, right? And, I know this is optimistic and a touchdown. Well, you're still only at 23 after the bonus. That's not including receptions and stuff like that. I'm just saying there is a little bit of caution in the wind with Bijan. I do like the Algier play just because of leverage off a blowout, but also the fact that he's going to get 10 touches or so, and he's complete leverage. What if he fell into the box twice? I don't know if, and buts, right? We can all play the what if game, but man, it's tempting to say the least to me right now.
Yeah.
And if you did want to kind of also talk about direct, pivots off Bijan, like you can go to this Falcons passing attack. Pitts is good.
It is tight end, National Tight Ends Day.
I'm so glad you brought that up. That was going to be my lead-in.
I totally forgot about it all of a sudden. I'm like, and Pitts destroyed last year on National Tight Ends Day last year. So yeah, definitely. Pitts is definitely going to be in my touchdown parlay that I build myself.
I like Pitts. I liked him last week, and the 49ers were really weak against the slot, and he ended up getting there. I think he had like 12 fantasy points or so, which is fine, right? 3,900, you're going to want more for that, especially in the Millie. But Darnell Mooney, a guy who's been getting a lot of downfield targets too. I mean, I know that its situation is very fluid without Penix in there. It is going to be Cousins, but I don't think this passing attack takes a hit, to say the least. Like, I think at 4,400, if you did want to jam in like Mooney, Pitts, and Cousins, and you're barely spending $13K on your build or under $13K for a full-blown stack and a team total of 27, if you wanted to do a 3-man stack of Cousins, Bijan, and Pitts too, like, I'm okay with it. But I think you're right. If you are playing Bijan, just be, kind of wary. 33%, 35% of the field is likely going to be matching it with you. I don't want to say it's bad chalk just purely because, obviously we have seen
chalk
absolutely smash. And last time I called chalk bad was Rashee Rice.
And I called chalk bag on Quinshon Judkins. So we both took it out last week on this.
Yes, last week was tough. And I'm just, I touched the burning stove once. I don't want to do it again too much, but I'll definitely be overweight on like Cousins and Pitts. And, depending on the situation.
Cousins is nice. Is a nice play for getting a cheaper quarterback is always nice. I've noticed that the cheap quarterbacks are definitely a play.
I want to bring this up to you here too. All right. I think this Dolphins team is going to get mollywopped. All right. I kind of led with that a little bit. Like, you mentioned Algier, but I do think there's a possibility of a blowout is here. And it's not for the reasons that, like, I think the Falcons are a great team, but it's also a team that's in dysfunction right now. The vote of confidence from McDaniel on Tua. And then they're going against what I consider, Felix, one of the best defenses in the league. I think they are the best passing defense in the league. They haven't allowed a 200-yard passer yet this season.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not interested in Waddle. I'm not interested in Malik Washington. I'm really not that interested in A-Chain. There was one guy I could be sweet talking to. It'd be Nick Westbrook-Akine, just because he runs every route. And he's on every one of my best ball teams. But that's about it. Like, I'm not going to be interested in anyone else because I'm going to have blind hope on NWI. But in reality, without Waller, I mean, that's a bigger deal than I think anyone would have thought a couple of weeks ago, right? Like, without Waller and stuff, they go from the Browns to the Falcons, who are the better defense in the league. I think this is going to be really rough sledding for this Dolphins team. And honestly, I'm kind of out on them entirely. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to score points to even keep this close against the Falcons.
Yeah, they're just not going to be able to put up enough. Like, they're going to complete passes. They're not going to, pull a Jets where you have like 30 passing yards going into the fourth quarter. They'll have 100, 150 maybe, but they're not going to have enough work between all of them to really generate any fantasy productivity to get into your lineup for their prices. I just think it's a pass on all.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and I do agree completely. But I'm going to hold out my false hope for Nick Westbrook-Akine.
He could fall into the end zone, down 38.
He's just going to be out there the entire time, right? Like for $3K, and it is like if you did want to spend up at running back, a cheap wide receiver does make sense. I'm not Xing him out. That's the one guy I'm not going to on this. Other than that, Dolphins score less than 13 points tomorrow. That's my prediction in this one. 49ers, Texans. I cannot believe the Texans are favored in this one, but the Texans defense has actually been pretty good. And the 49ers, man, I'll tell you this, they looked great last week. I mean, they beat them up. They beat the Falcons up on the ground. They didn't do it through the air. Mac Jones has been, pretty damn good all season in relief of Brock Purdy. But in reality, it's like McCaffrey, if they're able to get running the ball like they did, with George Kittle also helping out, man in the blocks, right? That was the big thing. National Tight End Day too, 4,500 off a complete dud spot. The one question I would just have is this Texans team can pressure the quarterback at a high clip. Is this another Kittle spot where you could be lacking, right? Because I got burned on that Sunday night. I had a lot of Kittle.
I faded him, yes. But...
So you had a good Sunday night.
Yeah, I did. I have a good Sunday night.
That's the issue with me, is just outside of McCaffrey, though, can we really trust any of these 49ers wide receivers? Because it's also kind of getting slightly messy, right? You're going to have Demarcus Robinson. You have Kendrick Bourne, who's been great this season, Juwan Jennings, and now Kittle into the mix. That's not to mention that Christian McCaffrey is a top 15 wide receiver based on yards in the league this season. So outside of McCaffrey, this game kind of falls a little bit flat for me. We did get this the touchdown from Woody Marks in the fourth quarter late last game, garbage time.
Yeah,
had Texans plus 14.5. You love that one live. That was the only thing, though, that was notable. Nico Collins, what's his status? All right, is he going to be out? Right?
I thought he was out. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was out too. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go to Saberson's projections here. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he was out. Now, because I had the lead in here, Jaden Higgins was not the rookie who stepped up last week. It was Jalen Knoll. Higgins did play a ton, though, but it was Higgins, Hutchinson, and Knoll who got the brunt of the work in the second half. However, Stroud just can't get him the ball, man. No time behind that line. What are you doing with this game?
For this game, I do think it's a lot of dink and dunk. I think that the defense is. I'm gonna play Houston's defense on my teams. I'm gonna be playing Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. George Kittle is also going to be on the touchdown parlay, and it's going to be run for those two people. But I kind of think this might be a breakout game for one of the rookies. I don't know which one. Everything's leaning towards Noel, but I can see Jaden Higgins getting going here as finally being, he's the only option past, because Kirk and Nico are out. I think this could be like, hey, you need to step up. We drafted you highly. They're going to put some pressure on him to step up, I think. Xavier Hutchinson is a sneaky play, but I'm going Jaden Higgins.
So I liked Higgins last week, right? It wasn't 1-for-1 in that role with Christian Kirk going out. But then it was, Braxton Berrios who got the first target.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right? It was frustrating. Knoll did get going late. Had a big catch down the left sideline in that game. Kind of helped them, I think, set up their last touchdown there. He is electric. Higgins was better in college. I mean, they were very similar, but Knoll's your more receiving type, right? Where your PPR type, which thrives a little bit more on DraftKings. But at the end of the day, they are going to play a ton, and this is a San Francisco team that is gettable in the slot. I mentioned that. That's why I played Pitts on that Sunday night game. Knoll will be running mostly from the slot. If I had to pick a guy, Felix, from this Texans team, it's Jalen Knoll, and then it would be Woody Marks too, because I think the price tag at 5,100 is okay, and I just don't think this is a Chubb game either.
I don't think it's a Chubb game. Well, we could also see. I guess we could see Schultz if they're going to hurt by the tight end. Maybe Schultz gets in there. He's you're not going to expect any yards after the catch with him, but you can definitely see a lot of sit down routes, a lot of Ertz type plays with him.
Yeah, 3,300. I can't get it out of my head. He went out of the game like 6 different times. After every catch, he had to sit out like a drive. I was just mesmerized.
He plays like an old man, man. He plays like an old man.
God, who was it? I think it was Tirico or Collins or was it? No, it was the Monday night. It was the second Monday night game, right?
Yeah.
It was the second Monday night game. I think it was like Orlovsky or Lewis Riddick were like, they were like, oh man, is that Schultz again? Like, it was just kind of becoming a theme at this point that he was just staying down on the ground. I could be down for Schultz though. 3,300 is much cheaper than I was expecting. The problem is just the ownership, right? Like,
he'll be my player pool though. He'll be
definitely. I'm not going to X him out, but the ownership, a lot banking on Nico Collins, his usage being directed towards Schultz, who's already been good for 3 weeks in a row. Don't get me wrong, but I might take other chances on tight ends with high upside.
Yeah.
New York. taking on Philly. Philly finding their groove last week with Jalen Hurts, but then you hear some rumbles with A.J. Brown potentially not being happy in the team. Could be a possible trade candidate, to say the least. Devontae Smith had a big game last week, too. Even Brown had a good game, too. Jalen Hurts in general, 326 yards through the air, I believe. Good stuff. My issue here, Felix, right? I can't trust this Philly offense at all.
No. And with the AJ Brown out, like it's not making it. I mean, it's condensing the offense even more. Yeah. Honestly, the third leg of my tight end parlay is going to be Dallas Goedert. I think with AJ Brown out, every time one of the lead receivers gets out, he does seem to be his target share seems to go up dramatically. And I think we can see that in this game. And if the Giants can replicate what they did 2 weeks ago, I think it could be a very similar, outcome of points for one side. I think the Eagles step up after having that nice showing last week.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we just saw this 2 weeks ago. It was the Scatabo shows, the Jackson Dart. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of success too with Wan'Dale Robinson breaking one down the sideline, I believe, in that game. I do think Nick Sirianni at home is going to kick some ass. This is a Giants team that just gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter of a football game and blew that game against Denver, being incredibly inflated based on how they were feeling. Everything was great. Yeah. Vibes were high, and then it gets torn down. Yeah. What does that do to a team, a young team, especially a young quarterback, right? Yeah, young Jackson Dart. Oof.
I think they could be deflated for sure. For sure.
And that's my fear. I got the Eagles kind of taking care of this one, taking care of business easily. I don't know how much they're going to have to throw, but I like the way that Devontae Smith looked. However, Felix, if I've seen multiple games of the Eagles, every single time you're like, man, they just don't throw the ball enough. They just don't throw the ball enough. I'd be kicking myself if I was overweight on a 23% owned Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
that's my issue. And I think Saquon's fine and stuff. I don't want to fall in love with this Philly attack because we can see them score 30 points and not nuke, right? That's my issue. Like, I think they're good plays in a vacuum, and he is under 6K, Devontae Smith in general, right? And Dallas Goedert at 4,200, he did 40. Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I just don't know, right? Because, without A.J. Brown in the mix, man, maybe I do need to reweigh that too, because I'm looking at it just where the targets would go, because it's not going to go to Dots.
I think it's going to go to Goddard. I think Goddard might even. I just saw someone else say it in the chat. Goddard might outscore Devontae Smith. This could be a Hurts, Barkley, Goddard, and that's it. Like that's what you can run, or maybe even Eagles defense coming off that super depressing loss in Denver. They could, it could be, Dart just throwing up hell, Well, I don't know. I kind of like Dart, even though they have really nothing on the other side here for him to throw to. I think he can have a high rushing game.
Yeah, it's interesting too because what Goddard shined last year when guys were out, right? I think that was a big thing, and he was also out for a long extended period of time.
Shoulder or something.
Let's look that up real quick. So I got to look this up because he had some big games. It might have been even 2 years ago at this point.
I think he was out for 4 weeks 2 years ago at the end of the season, and then. I remember. I feel like he did get something last year too, though.
Yeah, and it's also interesting too because obviously you saw it against the Giants, right? It was Goddard who just absolutely went off, and then none of the receivers did anything. Yeah, last time A.J. Brown missed, I think it was the Saints game, 15-12 win for the Eagles. Guess what Goddard did that game last year?
What did he do?
10 for 170.
No way.
They dropped back 38.
I'll play Goddard.
They only scored 15 points. Goddard went 10 for 170. This is what I mean by Devontae Smith too. Like he only went 7 for 79, which is great for a floor, right? It's great. I think that also the key point here too, Felix. No one else on that team got more than 13 receiving yards outside of Goddard. I guess that funnel is really, really tasty. All right, I you know what? I'm gonna change stance. I'm gonna circle back. You can, man. I hate going back my word. I hate going back my word, but that Hurts Smith Goddard stack is so elite because all that. This is why I like playing quarterbacks with a very clear funnel of who they're going to throw to maximize upside. This kind of fits that build, man.
I wouldn't even be mad about like a Goddard Smith and a bring back of a naked Dart. Like I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that either. And I'm just looking at it. I know what I just said 3 minutes ago. I'm going to be a liar. I'm going to go back on my word. One guy I won't play, Wan'Dale Robinson. Eagles are a lead against the slot. He had one big play against the Eagles last game. I don't think they're going to let that happen again. I think if I did run it back, it would be Dart or like Scatabo, right? Where it would be like a weird stack. It would definitely be unique if I ran two Eagles receivers with Dart.
I'm fading. This is the week he's going to go off, people. I'm fading Saquon Barkley. I've been playing him every week so far this year. So maybe this is the week he finally goes off, but I will be off of him this year. I've played him 6 straight weeks, I feel like, and I'm out.
Respect, Felix, respect. All right, man, let's move on. Buffalo taking on Carolina. No Bryce Young this week. Bryce Young is out with an ankle injury. He's lucky it wasn't a broken leg, man. Yeah. If that leg was planted in the ground when he was basically, it was like it would have been a red card in soccer, right? Just the way it was kind of like, just so people know, like his leg was like this, and the cleat of a 350-pound lineman came across the side, like basically just lucky it wasn't a fracture. Andy Dalton steps in. I think this offense is going to struggle, but it's not because of like a Bryce Young or Andy Dalton. It's also that they kind of lost their identity. I thought it was really bad last week. And I say that as someone who watched that Jets-Panthers game by choice on Sunday last week. I thought that was the most miserable game since the Jets played the Broncos in London. Yeah. I was mad because I loved Rico, Felix, and I bet a lot of Rico props. And luckily he got his over. Yeah. Luckily he got his over 63.5. His props kept dropping throughout the day, right? And then when Chuba started, his props went all the way down to 50. So like I was able to make some coin back on that. But man, I needed 101 from him to hit one of my biggest parlays ever. And sure enough, he wasn't getting the carries late on. It was Chuba Hubbard, who looked significantly slower than Rico down. I think they lost a little bit of their identity, and it angered me. But you know who did step up last week? Ted McMillan. He looked good, man. Xavier Legette looked good last week.
Xavier looked really good. And looked good with Dalton.
With Dalton. That's exactly what I was going to say, Felix. Could that be a guy who's stepping up in the right time for a Carolina team? We know about this Buffalo side, right? Coming off a bye. Yeah. Just got beat up by Atlanta. That's the thing. You get beat up by Atlanta against a really good defense there. Now you kind of come into Carolina. I think this is going to be a bounce back spot for them. What do you think?
Yes, I think it's a bounce back spot. I did some underdog drafts this past week. Obviously, that's how I start my week. I have quite a few Josh Allen with Keon Coleman and a few with Dalton Kincaid. And my favorite bring back was Xavier Legette. I didn't mind getting T-Mac, but like he's okay. I feel like the Xavier Legette and him had kind of a special connection for some reason last week, and I don't know, maybe he brings it over. I like to be on a little bit on the other side of I'm obviously T-Mac's number one fan here, but I think this week I want to be a Xavier Legette fan.
Yeah, that was the big thing. He looked good with Dalton. I do think I value that too, and I am with P. Lally here. Can't play either running back in this situation. Dowdle was clearly better, and didn't get the rock. Kincaid going to play. Yeah, with the bye week, I'm hopeful. It is National Tight End Day. The 8.57 projection is a little low right now, but I think it's banking on his status in the morning. I like the way Kincaid has been looking this season. Josh Allen looking his way a lot.
Yes,
a lot.
Yeah.
I don't love this game from a DFS point of view. I do like the Bills defense 3,300. I think that's a fine tag. Like we said, we're not going to be playing either running back, but I do think James Cook could be a guy who, you just talk about guys who have upside of 2+ touchdowns. I mean, James Cook fits that bill better than anyone in this league. And I think James Cook's going to be my number one bill. And then it would be kind of maybe some shades of Josh Allen, Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid. And then on the Panthers side, it'd be like Legette and McMillan and just hope for a chase script. And they'd be in stacks. I don't know if I'd run them naked. I'd want them with the Bill stacks that I do. And, I don't really have anything else to add on this game. I know it's pretty quick, but you got anything else or not?
No, they're pretty simple. I think we got them down.
Well, another simple game. This one is inspired by the cover art for this show. We did the Ohio State running backs, Travion Henderson and Kinshawn Junkins, Going against each other. Judkins winning the rookie battle so far this year because Mike Vrabel loves Ramondre Stevenson more than anything in this world.
Yep.
Travion Henderson only 9 offensive snaps last week, 4,500 here. Not great. You know what else isn't great? Going against this Cleveland defense. They don't travel better, right, than they are at home. Right, at home, they're just like a little bit of a gauntlet. They also had the benefit of really bad weather last time out. For me, though, I don't love this game on paper, Felix, at all. Like, I think the Patriots wagon has been there, but a 6,200, a 5,800 for Stephon Diggs. You even got the Kayshon Boutte. He got a huge price increase at 4,800 too. There's not a whole lot to like from me on this game. Maybe you can make the case for Harold Fannin. The Browns defense at 2,500 is cheap as well, right? And then obviously the Patriots defense at 3,600 going against Dylan Gabriel. That's it from me. What do you think?
I'm on the same page. It's hard to get to this game. Quinshon Judkins is nice, but he didn't like overly impress even against that terrible defense. And it's like he could go off, I guess. He did look explosive. Ramondre's getting just too much work. How do you go away from him if you're going to play anybody from the Patriots? It's just an ugly game. I might throw in a piece. It's definitely going to be a naked piece if I throw one in here. It's not going to be game stacked or anything. It's just going to be it fit my price. I'm not going on my way to fit anybody in this game.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. And my thing, P. Lally, this is the week to play him, not when he's 50% owned, right?
That is true.
Under 1%.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, play the Pens.
Into the box 3 times. And you hope he runs better than 3 yards a carry because the Browns are going to want to #establish it. And, I mean, if they do control the game, my only thing is the lack of passing involvement, right? That's the only issue with him. 6,500 on a good running back slate, though, it's a way better play than last week. And I say that as someone who lost their ass last week.
Yeah, I lost it to him last week. And I didn't realize he was 1% owned. I didn't even look at it. Yeah, that's a great play if he's at 1%.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah, purely ownership at that point.
Yeah.
All right. Moving through them quick. Now we get a good game here.
Yes.
Oh, God. The third straight week I get to watch the Jets. And I say that as a Bengals fan. The Bengals didn't play on Sunday, so that's why I didn't spend my time watching them because, I watched them on Thursday night. And I chose to watch Jets and Panthers because all my volume from Sunday was on Rico Dowdle betting-wise. So I was cheering on Rico Dowdle. And now I get a third straight time of watching the New York Jets, and Tyrod Taylor is out for this one here. You got Justin Fields, who is named the starter. Yippee. Justin Fields goes back to Ohio, where he was a college football legend, give or take. And, if there was a defense that you can get going on, Felix, the Bengals would be top 3 in that regard. Yeah. I think Fields and Hall carry some weight. I'm done playing pass catchers. If you did want to talk me into a pass catcher, it would be Mason Taylor. I'm not going to play Josh Reynolds. I'm worried that, at halftime, the Jets do 0 designed runs for Justin Fields, and they have 6 3-and-outs and make the Bengals defense look like the 85 Bears because I watched them do that with the Broncos and then the Carolina Panthers. That's gross. Flip it over to the Bengals side of the ball. I need to look up Sauce Gardner's status too. Is he in or out? It was concussion protocol, right?
I did not see if he was in or out. I don't think.
I know he likely out versus the Bengals here, and that's as a homecoming game for him. For those who don't know, he went to the University of Cincinnati and made the CFP in his time with Cincinnati. Played against Bama in the semifinal there. Yeah, so no Sauce Gardner. Well, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the volume from Joe Flacco against that Steelers team, 23 targets, could be in line for an encore because you can't really run the ball in this Jets defense as well as you can pass it against them, right? I think that's the big thing is they got some run stuffers up there.
Yeah.
I do think the Bengals will continue to sling the rock 40-plus times as long as Flacco can hold up there, Felix. What do you think?
I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be a shootout. I don't think by any means, but I do think I'm going to be playing a lot of Justin Fields. I think I'm going to be overweight by at least double the field, just because of his this is his last chance, right? Like all things on the table. If he completes a pass according to his owner, he can look a lot better. So I don't know if he even completes a pass. I don't think he needs to. I think he can get away from this defense and rush a couple in, and I think an easy bring back. Even if Sauce is playing, I think you can play both T and Chase. I'm going to be leaning a little bit more towards T this week. He just hasn't had his breakout game yet, and I like sometimes to play it on talented wide receivers to have them. And I think this could be a game where he could get it.
Yep, Sauce Gardner officially out, by the way. So
okay.
I think Josh Reynolds as well. I did not see the Jets news other than Justin Fields as starter. I guess that definitely did not pay attention to that with Josh Reynolds being out. Yeah, who can you play? Sean G, maybe Chase Brown can get more than 10 carries. And the problem is when they do run it more than one time on a drive, I swear to God, last week was different against the Steelers. He ran really well, but man, just feels like they run it into the ass of the offensive line like twice. And that was with Jake Browning, though. Joe Flacco should only help. I mean, this is a really good buy low spot on Chase Brown. The ownership is going to be there, but I do like that. Daniel, someone who has played Tyler Johnson this year, I can tell you, you don't want to do that. They have looked for Arian Smith a lot down the field, and this secondary for the Bengals is really bad. Like I tongue in cheek, I think these guys are okay as flyers. Like if you play Lazard, if you play Smith, if you play Johnson as flyers, they're more than okay. I'm not going to be Tyler Johnson wouldn't be one of the first 7 guys in my lineup, but maybe when you got to 8 and 9, I can be convinced. But I think Arian Smith provides the most upside purely because he gets a lot. He gets a few down the field throws, at least once a game over the last 2 weeks. I know they looked for him in the Denver game, and then last week against Carolina, there was also another deep ball thrown his way. So, yeah, just the eye test there. Just the eye test. But they're going to be out there the whole game. Can the Jets get more than 100 passing yards? Felix?
That's going to be tough.
I'm kind of buying your Fields take.
Yeah. I mean, you got to fade him when he's low, man. At his lowest, he comes out with these crazy games. When everybody's favored, that's when he sucks. I mean, we played him 2 weeks ago, and he was absolutely awful. So, obviously, it can burn us, but I don't know. I just, something, maybe you're on something, being back in the state of Ohio. You never know.
I'm going to ask you this question here.
Yeah.
Justin Fields or Spencer Rattler straight up this week?
Justin Fields for me, but that's just because I don't like.
I dropped Justin Fields earlier. We have a super flex league in my fantasy league, right? I'm only in one fantasy league every year. And I dropped Justin Fields for Rattler because I assumed he lost the job. Well, Justin Fields is back in the fold day. I don't know. I have Jane Daniels on IR, so I can probably drop Tua. I mean, I can drop Tua. I ain't playing Tua ever again. I can tell you that. Maybe I'll have the one night stand of Fields back, and then I'll release him after Sunday's game. Yeah, I hope Mason Taylor plays too, Ranjo. Yeah, that'd be something I can get a little bit on board with Jets minis because look, I've said this too.
Jeremy Ruckert would be a nice little, also Ohio guy.
Hey, you got that right. Damn, Felix, you pulled out the Ohio State bag on me there. Oh, that was good. I'm gonna say this. I always want to stack against the Cowboys. I always want to stack against the Bengals. Things have not changed. Aaron Rodgers put up 31 points against this defense last week. I do not want to go away from that well. I will be playing some Jet stacks, and I will be watching this game, and my eyes will probably be bleeding. All right, Felix, Bears taking on the Ravens. Did you not see the antics that the Ravens pulled on us this week?
Yeah, I thought Lamar was going to start, man.
A full participant in practice.
Yeah.
Spread goes to -8.5. Mind you, this is 3 days after the NBA gets in hot water with the gambling, with Terry Rozier unders, with Chauncey Billups marking some cards and scamming people out of millions of dollars with the mafia. Then you have the audacity for Harbaugh to try his shenanigans and move the spread to -8.5. It is now sitting at -1.5 because Lamar Jackson is out for this one, and the NFL is now looking into the injury report provided by the Ravens. And if you're asking me as a Bengals fan who takes, the NFL's integrity so serious, it should be docked the next 10 years of first-round draft picks.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I will say that kind of stupid to swing the gambling lines a full 7 points, if you ask me. But I like the gamesmanship. I respect Harbaugh. I can hate the Ravens all I want. I respect them. Tyler Huntley, though, he is a familiar face. He will be making his start for this team. Obviously, he's been around the league this year, right? It was on Cleveland to start out the season, and at least on the preseason, he was with Cleveland. I don't know, he got picked up from some practice squad or whatever. Needless to say, they're not going to Cooper Rush anymore, right?
No, he's awful.
Yeah, and it will be Tyler Huntley in the mix. Derrick Henry as well at only $6K. He will be getting a little bit of ownership. I don't know if I can trust Zay Flowers or Mark Andrews or anyone in this Baltimore passing game, because at the end of the day, I like Huntley a little bit, but man, I don't love this Ravens offense still. As far as the Bears go, Colson Loveland saw a little bit of an uptick for you last week, and also Luther Burden. Problem is, I think the production is kind of widening, which frustrating from a fantasy point of view. Odunze hasn't been doing much. The guy who has been thriving for this Bears offense, DeAndre Swift. Felix, what are you doing with this game?
So my buddy Will Hugh, one of former Millie Maker winner as well, won a slate using Tyler Huntley.
Ooh.
So, I always got to throw a couple Tyler Huntley lineups in there, just for that, hoping to get some of that luck as well. I think if I'm gonna pair him up, probably the popular play is Zay Flowers, but I'm probably gonna go with tight end week. Just gonna go with Mark Andrews, play it safe. When I play this game slate or this game matchup, and I'm gonna play with him, and I'm gonna bring it back with DeAndre Swift. He's looked so good lately, and they're giving him the rock. They're giving Kyle Monungai a bunch of touches as well, but I do like Swift in this game.
So did we get final word on if Swift is going to be playing? I looked that up. I saw questionable earlier in the day. I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything mentioned about it after today, I should say.
Yeah, so Swift expected to play in week 8. So, okay, that was from Courtney Cronin. So, yeah, if he missed, though, I would have been all over Kyle Monungai.
Right?
All over that.
Expected to play. Yeah.
His role has increased steadily over the last few weeks. He is under 6K, though, Swift is. I do think he is more than viable. The problem, I keep coming back to this, Felix. This Ravens secondary,
I know. Dude, Luther Burden. Yeah.
It's been bad. It was really bad last year, and it stayed really bad this year. The reason why they're not just bottom of the barrel is because teams haven't had to throw the ball in the fourth quarter against them in recent weeks. Yeah. They are now 28th in the league on a per game basis in terms of yardage allowed. That's just kind of incredible. The entire AFC North stands the Browns. The Browns are top 3. The Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens are in the bottom 5, which is just funny. I don't want to get away from this Bears offense, because I think the Bears kind of roll into Baltimore and take the W. I just don't know which receiver to trust the most. Phil, you mentioned Luther Burden.
That's going to be my guy. Yeah, he's definitely the guy. I think they're finally bringing him on. I mean, maybe it's just my 50% preseason ownership of him in best ball. I just think this is he plays a lot like a ghetto version of Jamar Chase, and I think just seeing Jamar Chase light up this Baltimore defense so many times, I just feel like this is Luther Burden's game.
This is the equivalent of the Kayshon Boutte call from a couple weeks ago. I'll say that. It's the equivalent of that. Completely unowned. 3,800. It's not like 3K, right? It's definitely not going to just be someone who just randomly clicks him in. And I'm going to say this to you in your support, right? In week 7 last week, we had 9 targets or nine routes for Luther Burden, but the week before that was the week that he had about 13 routes, 4 targets for 51. It's these down the field throws, right? Where all of a sudden, what was the week that week 4? Was that the week that he went off? Week 3. It had to be one of those weeks too, where he had 3 for 101 and 1. Yeah. That would be more than enough. If just one big play down the field, and against this Ravens secondary, post bye week for this team, right? Obviously a couple of weeks removed from the bye. But I like it. I like him to finally jump Olamide Zaccheaus in that regard. And I could buy in on some Luther Burden without a doubt. Odunze would be the other guy. Where obviously, that's obvious too. But again, under 5% ownership on a wide receiver 1 against a bottom 5 secondary. That's the spot I want in the Millie Maker. Ravens side of the ball, Felix. Did you mention your take on Derrick Henry in terms of what you're doing with him?
I'm going to play him. He's I thought he was going to be a little bit more chalky than 11%, but I'm going to play. He's in a good spot. he's not gonna. I'm not gonna be overweight. Definitely not gonna be underweight. But I definitely want to play Derrick Henry in the potential backup quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, right? Like, it was 6K, and you're so used to seeing him at, 8K basically, right?
Yeah, and he still put up 100 yards last week, or was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Yep. Well, last week he had 24 for 122. Didn't score, right? He only scored 3 points.
Right.
The Rams in that same game, that was the week that Puka got hurt.
Yeah.
They only threw for 181. But they didn't have to do anything in that fourth quarter. They scored 17 unanswered and won 17-3. The Ravens relied on the run a ton. Tyler Huntley did drop back 15 times in the second half of that game when he replaced Cooper Rush. And someone mentioned it in here, like Rashad Bateman. Yeah, I could be down for that type of play again. I don't want to 4,100, same type of play, under 5% owned, under 3% owned in this case with an okay team total. And yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't know. I don't feel great about this Ravens offense in general, though. Derrick Henry would be the only guy really I have any interest in, Felix.
Yeah, I'm going to play some Mark Andrews. I don't think this defense is elite. I do think that, I'm just trying to go off of previous knowledge, and I'm just going to sprinkle in that pairing here and there.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, what was the playoff game? Was that the one where Huntley and Andrews almost beat the Bengals in that wild card game a few years ago?
Yes,
hurt in the playoffs. So, I mean, we know what Huntley can do in this hardball system, or not the hardball system, but the Ravens system. God, I don't even know who their current offense coordinator is, since Roman now is on the Chargers. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I have no idea, honestly. I'm probably some Michigan guy, I'm sure.
Yeah, it makes sense. Bucs taking on the New Orleans Saints. Rachaad White projected to be very chalky. Baker Mayfield is going to be kind of lower owned than you'd expect. Emeka Egbuka did not look healthy last week, Felix. I had a same game parlay after Mike Evans got hurt.
Yeah.
And I had the Otton over, I had the Tez Johnson over, and I had the Egbuka under. I thought that was super sharp.
That is.
And then Egbuka caught a 30-yard pass on the last possession of the game. And I was so tilted. Yeah, they punted anyway, too. And that's what did it. He didn't look healthy last week. He did not look healthy. However, he'll be playing the whole game. Another week for that hammy to get set, get ready, get right. An okay spot. No Evans, right, for the rest of the year, basically. Cade Otton, going to be a guy that continue to look for at 3,400. I know you're going to have some interest in him. Yeah. Tez Johnson, also Baker Mayfield missed him on a touchdown. A wide open touchdown in the end zone last game. Another guy, 4,300, under 5% owned. I could be talked into some Bucs stacks for the most part, being able to run it back with an Olave. I don't know if I have any interest in like Kamara, but Olave and Shaheed would probably make my cut just here. Felix, what do you think?
So, I don't quite understand the Rachaad White love. I'm probably going to full fade that. I'm going to put a full fat 0 on it and just hope that I'm right. And I'm going to play Baker and pair him up with a lot of Otton. And then I'm going to sprinkle in some Tez because, man, that boy looks fast. And I think he's finding a role on that team really quickly. And I can see Chris Godwin and Mike Evans just going out in the distance and getting putting down behind the barn. And it's going to be a Egbuka, Cade Otton, Tez Johnson from here on out. So I'm going to play those three, and I'll fall on the other side. I'm probably going to just be playing a lot of Kamara. I'm probably sprinkling some Olave, and I really don't like their secondary pieces. That maybe sprinkle our boy, the fake tight end himself.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? Like, I don't know exactly how I'm going to approach this game with it being late too.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I like my late hammers, but the problem is feeling like, there's going to be a game that I'm really interested in. That's going to be this Broncos team. Cause I'm going to be a man of my word on the entire season. I'm also going to have a lot of Jonathan Taylor and stuff. I could see myself leaving a lot more room in these later games, just like I did last week. And kind of hoping I can, create some dynamite, because look at these games here to end. This Tennessee Titans are the only team with a bad team total, because even the Saints have a decent team total here, Felix.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a sneaky stack in a dome. The only problem, if you had to negate one issue, it's a division game, right? Yeah. You do have a pass funnel here with the Tampa Bay Bucs. Like, I think I might have more of this game than I initially thought.
Yeah, and like they're saying in the chat, like they're saying 200 yards given up on the ground for the Saints, and the Bucs are a pass funnel. I'm gonna try to I don't know, make it up in my head that they can't really pass the ball for the Saints, and they're gonna try to do a lot of dump offs. That is a future pick six thing we're gonna go into later, and I think that's how they're gonna do, because that pressure is also Vita Vea is just gonna eat them up. So it's going to have to come out quick. I don't think they're going to have time for the deep pass game. So I think it's going to have to come out quick. So that's why I'm going to play that route.
Yeah, it was funny. What Gibbs' 78-yard touchdown came when Vita Vea was off the field last week.
That's probably
I had a rough NFL weekend, Felix. I couldn't wait for week 8 to arrive, man. I faded Gibbs, and when you're just cooked right away.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was so tough because I only ran the one. Monday night, I don't know what I was doing.
I didn't play a lot of Monday night, but I only played the single game showdowns. I didn't play the combo.
Yeah. Oh man, it just killed me, man. Because I'm not going to hit on Gibbs' talent or anything like that. I was just Vita Vea is going to beat him in the middle. He's not going to be able to run the ball. Then he had a bunch of catches in the first round. I'm like, it's okay. Just don't need him to score. Then a 78-yard house on Vita Vea on the bench. I was like, that's the thing. They're not going to be able to run the ball against them. I think, Daniels, you mentioned it. Just thinking that in your last run, it gave a lot of bump to the afternoon teams. Potential hammers, all the PMR, kind of leaning that way, man. Just having that flexibility late. I mean, everyone, not everyone, no one hardly knows me, but in the run pure stuff, NBA is my best sport by a mile. And yeah, it's just the more flexibility you have late in NBA, there's a reason why all these late hammers track you down at the end, man.
I'm not good at NBA, and I need to get more into the chat on the NBA stuff, because I'm just running the sims and grabbing players I kind of like and going from that route. But man, I always seem to be doing okay. And then when I wake up, I'm like, I didn't even cash. And I'm like,
and that's the thing, the late hammers and stuff. And I don't want to just say, oh yeah, but it's you have all the answers in front of you. You have exactly how everyone did in the earlier games.
Yeah.
SaberSim's really smart to where it's here's here's your best possibility of finishing at the highest combo. And yeah, I mean, I think I might have a lot of afternoon stacks and try and beat the slate that way, because look, we had to rank our team so far from the early games. Atlanta would probably be number 1 for me. The Eagles would be number 2, and then it would be the Bengals. And then honestly, I mean, if you want to throw in the Bills there, I'm okay with that, but that would be my top 3. You could say that the Broncos, the Bucs, the Colts all might be better than them straight.
You can play some running backs in the first half of the games. It maybe save a spot for JT, and just wait to see how they do, and then just play the quarterback and the wide receiver. There's a lot of good quarterbacks and wide receivers on those last 2 games that you can mix and match and get it going.
Yeah, I think that's a strategy that I might do here, Felix. I might do that a lot of. Cowboys taking on the Broncos here. Bo Nix was horrible for 49 minutes last game. It killed me, man. I will say this. A lot of people hate on oh man, there isn't enough 4:00 games. I love being able to isolate on a game, from halftime to the end and stuff. The Cardinals game was good. I had that on too. And I can't even remember what the third game was, but this game had all my attention, right? The Broncos game, and God, he's horrible. The Broncos coming back from that game, scoring 33 in the fourth quarter, was never on my bingo card.
Nope. Nope.
It's on my bingo card this week because, again, what do we do on this show? We stack against the Cowboys. I'm going to be stacking against the Cowboys, baby. Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, sign me up. J.K. Dobbins, the Javonte Williams revenge game. CD Lamb as well. CD Lamb housing a big touchdown to start the game, basically. Lots to like in this one, Felix. The prices, though, are representative of that, right? You're paying a premium on these guys. What do you think?
So I do. There's probably 5 or 6 quarterbacks I'm playing, and Bo Nix is going to be one of them. Dak probably going to pass on. I'm excited for what I talked about the last few weeks is you don't want to play Bo when he's running kind of average. He's a hit or miss quarterback, and he caught fire at the end of last week, and he is hopefully going to keep that fire going into this week. And I'm going to be playing him with a lot of Marvin Mims. a little bit up like a counterplay to Cortland Sutton. I feel like Cortland Sutton's a nice soft high floor. You know, he's not going to. He could easily go for 140, 2 touchdowns, and I don't know even words, but I think it's going to be a lot of explosive plays coming from Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, those band of brothers.
Yeah, Troy Franklin's another guy. I like that call because you look at it, ownership on this slate, right? Like we already talked about a bunch of ownership on the running backs, right? I want to get like some sub 5%ers in here, right?
Yeah.
Last week, I was kind of shocked by the lack of production from Cortland Sutton in the entire
did okay. Yeah.
2 catches, right?
Yeah.
But it was Marvin Mims who stepped up. And then Troy Franklin, 10 targets, man. I know he had the touchdown, but they're not going to drop back 50 times, you wouldn't think. But still, Franklin had the same amount of targets as Sutton. Marvin Mims had 7 targets. He ran 31 routes last week, about 60% of the routes. You don't need that much to thrive against the Cowboys. If you think the Broncos had the possibility of putting up 30+ again, Franklin, Mims, those are guys that the ownership at a milli maker, Felix, that can get it done.
They can also give you a new 0. They can also give you a 0. They have that.
Probably give you 0. That is facts.
Yeah.
I do think the Broncos put up points. I want exposure to those guys. I think Ingram is okay, right? Like he's going to be out there for most of the time.
He didn't look that fast.
There's so many good tight end plays, there, right?
Yes,
that we've talked about. Ingram would likely be squeezed for me at 4,100, where I'm not going to see a whole lot of them.
Agreed.
That said, Bo Nix over Dak Prescott for me. J.K. Dobbins over Javonte as well. CeeDee Lamb over any of these other guys in terms of wide receivers, and then I would start to kind of pick my way through the Bo Nix stacks. Where
I didn't really get onto the Dallas side, but I'm on the opposite. I like Javonte over JK.
Ooh, okay. So Javonte, you heard his comments, right? Did you hear him? Explain the comments here.
No, I didn't hear him. I didn't hear the comments. Sorry.
He said he's gonna let the Broncos. They made a mistake letting him go. They're gonna feel the girth of him.
Okay.
He's in full revenge mode. People say revenge doesn't mean anything. It means a lot to Javonte Williams here, Felix, and that's a good run back. I mean, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think the way to attack the Denver defense is through the ground, and he had to say that after getting run over by Rico Dowdle. So he has to hey, he had a revenge game. You guys got to give me mine. I do think that is a big part of it, and I think Mary Ferguson is also another play this week. It being tight ends week, Dak might feed his brother. Yep.
This is a good comment too from Felix or from Daniels. Surtain potentially being up on CD. A lot of talk about Riley Moss and stuff, but I think Moss sucks.
I think he just doesn't go into they can be moving their pieces around. I don't think Surtain's going to be a lockdown on anybody specifically. Correct. I think he's going to
Lamb does travel around the line at a very high clip. Yeah. That's the one thing that kind of makes him a little bit matchup proof for the most part. Abel, it. Felix, on top of that, he had to let me know too. I was so ready for it because tomorrow I made Rodgers going back to Green Bay and stuff. I had to make that the cover for Sunday night, but all the covers tomorrow are tight ends. So I was very, very in tune on it, and then I completely dropped the ball on it to start the show.
And not only that, it was a double tight end Billy Maker last week.
You know what? Oh yeah, McBride
and our boy Wiley said there was no way that was going to happen, which is hilarious.
Well, Gadsden was so I put it was the Chargers game that was late.
Oh yeah, baby,
4:00 game. Yeah, and
the next Gates.
I couldn't believe how open Gadsden was every damn play for Herbert, man. It was
50% on it. My captainship last week.
It's I'm going to ask you this too. Bo Nix, do you have to double stack him? I don't think you have to because of his running upside, but it's
and there's a lot of good plays. Yeah, but you can.
Yep. Last week, if you double stacked him, you had 33 points, but none of his receivers, got double digits except for Ben. Did mediocre.
And he did a lot of rushing on top of it. So
yes, correct. All right. So
get out of here with that. Why is that a fish? Get out of here. He's a sharp.
Yeah, Wiley's a sharp. We love Wiley here.
Yeah.
And I know that when we get to Cowboys games and stuff too. I'll look stupid more than anyone. I'm gonna play the Bo Nix slate where he gets 4 fantasy points and looks like a fool against the Cowboys defense that turns into a gauntlet. That's been my theme this year. I need a shipper. I need a shipper.
I'm right there with you.
Millie, I'm feeling the Millie, man. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Talk about a wagon. Colts team is disgustingly good right now, and I can't process it. My brain breaks every time I try to. Tyler Warren, absolute beast. Jonathan Taylor, absolute beast. Michael Pittman, all reliable. Daniel Jones, MVP. Now, that felt worse than calling Diego Pavia a Heisman candidate. That felt worse than Ty Simpson being in the Heisman mix and then throwing up a stinker against South Carolina. If it ain't Brendan Sorsby for Heisman, don't hit me up.
I don't know.
Titans didn't look awful last week. I'm still completely out on them for the most part, though. I don't have any interest in split backfield. It's Tyler Lockett left this team for a reason. DK did look halfway decent. Ayo Manor's cheap, I guess, too. That would be the only 2 guys that I have any interest in at all, Felix. Otherwise, it is a one-way street, and that's straight to Indianapolis blowout town. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can full stack. If you hit the nuts, you just full stack the rest on with the Colts. I wouldn't hate it. I think every play here is viable. I would think about the run back with Mayonnaise, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like, it is. I mean, I kind of want to fill 3 more minutes, Felix. I was trying to get us to 10.
Yeah, well, we got it. We got pick 6 to go through. I think this is I think they just volleyball this team. I don't know what the spread is there, but I could easily see them putting up 14 to 20 points up on them. Yeah, they just look so dysfunctional on offense. It's hard to even think that they can bring somebody back. But if they have 200 yards passing because they're down just so much by the third quarter and they pull the starters, I can see Mayonnaise. I can see DK getting there on a deep shot. Other than that, maybe Colts defense is the lock, here. But we haven't talked too many defenses, and this is definitely a defense where he's so lazy with the football. That is the straight coming out of college. He has terrible footwork. He looks just so slow in the pocket. So it's fine. My Christmas kiss.
This happens. Maybe I'll just quit. Oh God, the Colts being an absolute wagon getting knocked off by the Titans would be
at home. Yeah,
it would sum up this season.
Yeah,
it really would. I would just fold. I would put the cards down and be like, maybe next year for NFL.
Yeah.
It's Gunnar Helm is good, man. But you're talking to the king, the president of Chigoconquo's fan club. It's dying. It's a dying breed, but I'm still here. I'm still living. I won't back down. Rance, you're exactly right. Afternoon seems like the best games. If Bengals go crazy, Felix, I'm going to ask you one question here. Can you play, if you're not playing Jones, would you do Taylor and Warren together? I mean, those are 2 good plays, but would you just rather pick one for the most part?
No, you can definitely put them together. And then because those are the 2 main pieces that get worked through. And honestly, Pittman and Warren are in the same boat. I guess that's why they're priced so closely. I'm definitely gonna be playing a lot of Taylor. It's just you have to. He's the Saquon of this year. It doesn't make sense if you don't play him. Tyler Warren, he's so good. Tight ends weak. They kind of struggle against tight ends. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing them. He could be a part of my Justin Fields stacks where I just run a naked Justin Fields kind of deal, or naked. There's a lot of naked teams I'm running this week. Dart looks a little okay naked. They definitely can fit on naked teams.
My only devil's advocate take is this was my case. I always faded Derrick Henry back in his prime. We can talk that way now because he's out of his prime clearly.
Yeah.
Cue the 200-yard game tomorrow.
After coming up a 100-yard game, yeah, he's out of his prime.
If Jonathan Taylor goes 120-2, it's only 27 fantasy points.
Right.
If he doesn't get any catches, right? This is the one thing I kind of throw it out. I'm going to throw this out here, Felix, too. And I'm going to say this, and I actually mean this. Who got fourth quarter burn when the Colts blew out? Was it the Dolphins to start the season or something like that?
Was it Giddens?
It was Giddens. So I'm not saying Giddens is a good play. I'm just saying when the Colts were up 33-8. I know that there was a slight
The Algier play. Yeah.
And not even like the Algier play, but it's like if you wanted a case to fade Taylor, when they were up 33-0, that was a game that Taylor went 18 for 71, didn't score, right? But even if he scored twice there, only 19 fantasy points, right? I'm just saying, 3 for 27 through the air and stuff. Fadeable. I just think that if you really do think it's a blowout, there's a chance that Taylor doesn't play a significant part in the second half because they're trying to save him up. That'd be the only justifiable reason for me to push back against him. Because
he has 3 games with 3 touchdowns, though. It's hard to fade that.
He's the offensive player of the year, as things stand.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It's pick 6 time. That is the entire slate. Can you believe that? 1 hour in. We got through 10 games in 1 hour. That's a first, Felix. That's what I want. I aim for an hour. I just always go way above that. So we are going to fill the next 5-10 minutes going through pick 6 for props. And for some of these pick 6s too, I like to do a parlay on them. And I might post that into the Discord tomorrow here. Run Pure Sports. Check it out. Felix, you got a pick ready for me, right? Let me go ahead and see my winnings pack. And it is, as always, a 30% boost from DraftKings.
We're going to start with a wild one, 1.3x. Alvin Kamara, 5 receptions.
I like it. Alvin Kamara, 5+ receptions here, and we got it with a 1.3x, which is a great multiplier, by the way, the further we get up and up, without a doubt. All right, Felix, it's my turn here. You know what? I think I went 3 for 3 last week.
I did terrible. Sorry, guys.
No, I'm trying to think. Hold on. Let me look at my picks.
I was terrible.
Dowdle and Vidal. Did you see how he cleared it? He got 1 yard catch to get the 15 receiving yards.
Yeah.
I completely clicked into that one. Hassan had
Christian McCaffrey had like 100 yards. It was bad.
I had it because 5 of 6 makes money. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, my Sunday was shit. My Sunday afternoon, I'll make some money back. No. All right. So I'm gonna go. Let's see here. You know what? I'm not as prepared as you. You were very prepared, but obviously, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go right against the Cowboys, like always. I'm gonna go to rushing yards, and you know what? Rushing or receiving here. We're gonna go with receiving. Okay. Cortland Sutton, we're going to go right back to the well. Same thing that paid dirt last week, over 62.5 receiving yards. We did it last week with 63.5. He cleared it, no issue. Same thing this week against the pitiful Dallas Cowboys defense.
Nice. And we're both kind of on this play. And I think it's going to be it's going to come with like just one catch for him. It's going to be Xavier Legette. 32.5 receiving yards, hit the over.
Xavier Legette over 32.5. He got quite a few down the field throws from even Dalton last week, which is good to see. And they should be trailing in this one. I like that, Felix. Xavier Legette over 32.5. And like I said, guys, I sucked on my unders, right? Outside of a few. So I'm going pure overs because I'm a donkey and I'm a fish. And I love my overs. So
me too.
I say that. We're going to go one more under because right when I say that, Tua Tagovailoa under 194.5 passing yards.
I'm in it.
Falcons haven't given up a 200-yard passer all season. That will not change with Tua at the helm. I think that there's even a chance that he were to get replaced if things are bad enough at halftime. Tua Tagovailoa under 194.5 passing yards.
I love that because it's almost getting Justin Fields bad with how bad it's looking out there. The passing game. I have one more, and it's 43.5 receiving yards over for Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, a double stack in that game. Xavier Legette over, and so is the Keon Coleman over as well in the receiving yards. We got that, and now we are looking at a really healthy multiplier here, Felix. Already at 15. Let's see if we can get this up to 25, maybe even north of that.
Okay.
Let's see. We got Saints. We already got Kamara there, right? Oh man. I'm gonna go with terrible TV.
No, you're good. Oh, yeah. There's a few out here that
Dallas Goedert. Over 50.5 receiving yards. All right. That gets us to a 32x multiplier with our 30% boost. I lowered my max to 20 instead of 50. I haven't won on pick 6, I promise. It gives us a chance for 20 to turn into $860 basically. No, 750 it says.
Perfect.
All right. One more time for the people that didn't see. Alvin Kamara, 5+ receptions. Sutton over 62.5 receiving yards. Xavier Legette over 32.5 receiving yards. Keon Coleman over 43.5 receiving yards. Dallas Goedert over 50.5 receiving yards. And then Tua Tagovailoa under 194.5 passing yards. We appreciate y'all for watching. For Felix and for I. If we don't win the millie tomorrow, if Felix doesn't win his second millie tomorrow, then we do hope it's one of y'all to take it down, make us look good. No, I'm kidding. Have a great rest of y'all's day. Have a good one, and good luck tomorrow, and bye-bye.